welcome to the channel. This is Greddy and welcome to the GT7 Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup. It is round number 6 and we are at Fuji in the Group 4 cars. I am in the McLaren, and tonight we have a little bit of a tussle with a world finalist in qualifying. That's right. Greddy is in the top split, as you can see by the names on the board. A couple world finalists in here, and I'm not going to say I'm like terribly nervous. So, I'm a little tense right now because I know I need to really focus and concentrate, put in a good lap to have a good showing here in this very difficult lobby. It's the first slot of the night, and I haven't had a whole lot of practice. Just got home from work 30 minutes ago, and well, I'm getting violated by an Intenza there coming out the pits. But we managed to get him off the back end of the car. We head down through corner 1, and it is the out lap. So really all we want to do here is just relax, kind of get into the feel for the track. And I look in my rear view mirror and I'm like, who's that behind me? It's Randall? That's not Originals, is it? So there really wasn't a whole lot I could do about it at this point. Maybe I could have eased off and let him by here, but it looked like we had a pretty decent gap, and it looked like he had a pretty decent gap behind him. So I figured he can just back off, maybe catch my slipstream at the end of the lap, get a really good run out the final turn, and put in a good second hot lap. I mean, you get like 4 or 5 hot laps here at Fuji, so it's not that big a deal. I get a pretty good last turn, come out of there on the throttle nice and early, and so what I did was I took the time here. It was a 201.756, and he crosses with a 201.773 at that shadow, so he was about a second behind me. Now, just a word of advice, if like you're the door number 1 guy in the lobby and you're behind door number 20, you might want to give him more than a second gap, especially when you're in the OP BMW M4. Not that the McLaren's a soft target, but I mean, it's not the M4, let's face it. So going on further on the track, I actually did pretty well through the first section of the track, not too terrible. I was actually feeling pretty decent about the lap up to this point. And, I hadn't been run down by the world finalists behind me just yet, so I was feeling pretty good. So I'm just going to continue on with my lap, not worry about anything that's going on behind me, just concentrate on my braking points. I actually broke just a hair late through there. Really wanted to cut more of that corner. I was a little upset with myself, but not too big. Get on the gas there. This is probably my worst section of the whole track, and probably many of y'all's as well. Very technical section. You need to carry a lot of speed through here and get on the gas early. And meanwhile, you're trying not to run off the track and die. So a little cautious through here on my first lap. I just want to kind of get a banker lap in. And, well, this is where it gets interesting. The BMW sends it down the inside. I leave him the space. He runs me off the track. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So I come back on the track. He doesn't even leave me any room to come back on the track. So I pitted him on purpose into barrier. Rip Randall. That's right. Let's watch this again. So I'm coming around the final corner. I see him coming down the inside right here. Now, what he should have done was set up the exit for a nice overtake and some seriously nice top end speed. But instead, he just keeps driving me completely off the track. And then when I come back on, now the thing to do would be to leave me a little bit of space, but nah, world finalists, you get no space. So I said, all right, Mr. World Finalist, go eat the barrier. So I put it in the quarter panel and I gave him some donkey punch there and showed him the side exit. So again, Mr. Originals, not sorry. And that was a pretty boneheaded move by you, honestly, if you ask me. You probably should have set up your next lap for a overtake on the straight, some good top speed, and a really nice second hot lap. But instead you messed with old Greddy. Shame, shame, shame. So I ended up qualifying 2:15. It wasn't my best qualifying lap, but then he says all of that to finish 15th. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a second split driver. I was pretty happy with 15th, so I said, well, not sorry. But being the sportsman that I am, it's bygones are bygones. It's tit for tat. I'm ready to race. I put it in my past, balled it up, threw it in the toilet, and hit the old flusher handle. So Originals, you are in my rear view mirror, and I'm going to concentrate here on the race. Of course, I will have accepted an apology from you if you would like to send one to my PlayStation account. It is Greddy, and yeah, just send it on over, and I'd be happy to accept that, sir. So moving on to the race, we start here in 15th behind Schmack Sloth. we've seen a lot of him lately in my last 3 races. I mean, the two of us have been pretty much qualifying right next to each other, so we have very similar pace. And I believe we're pretty close in the manufacturer's rankings as well. I think I'm ranked 7th, and he's around 6th or 5th. He's definitely in front of me, though. He might even be 4th. I'm not really certain. Quite a few 650S's in here. Lester's in here in the 650S. I'm in the 650S. Schmack Sloth is in the 650S. There's a Brazilian or 2 in the McLaren. So a lot of McLaren representation in this race. And unfortunately, it's such a stacked lobby. I'm like, well, I don't know how many points I'm actually going to get here, because I'm not really in my peer group. But I'm going to give it our all here. Try and make some moves, try and pick up some positions, try and raise the point total there. Right now, I believe I'm sitting on my lowest score is a 271, so I'd really like something above 271 if at all possible. We'll see if we can't make that happen. Now, heading down into the penultimate turn, not too terrible, but I am about 9/10 off of P14, which means I'm not in the slip, but the Mercedes behind me is definitely in the slip as we head down the straight towards the always treacherous turn 1. Schmack Sloth down the inside, locks up all 4 as he dodges P12 and P13. And I grab a Greddy pass, so I move back up to P14. Now we head down towards the heavy braking zone on the hairpin. Nikito down the inside, hits Lester, bounces off Lester, then goes in front of the Brazilian. The Brazilian here has nowhere to go but broadside him. I back off, let Lester back into the racing line so that I don't get run off the track, as we all manage to somehow get through there somewhat unscathed, but the Brazilian picks up a half-second penalty for actually doing really nothing but being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And this is an example why contact penalties don't seem to work in Gran Turismo. It just gave the penalty to the wrong person. I'm sorry, that is not a 0.5 second penalty. That is a 5-second penalty. Absolutely brutal. Did nothing wrong. So now I'm heading down here on Lester's tail, and I actually get into his rear a little bit, and that I back off so I don't make it look like I'm trying to do a dirty overtake, and that gives Greasy the inside. I've totally just lost all concentration on where Greasy Sam Squatch was. And he sends that Porsche Cayman down the inside of Greddy in turn 1. So a good head-up move by Greasy there as he takes P12 right after I gained it from the penalty serve of the Brazilian that had the incident. So now I've got to focus on hanging with a world finalist in Lester and Greasy Sam Squatch, who is no slouch on the racetrack. Got the work cut out for me, and I'm really trying to get on the gas early, really trying to concentrate on, making those racing lines as perfect as possible and repeating lap after lap without making any mistakes. That is the key to doing well in the top split. Getting on the gas early here, heading down the final straight. On to lap number 4 in the tight right-hander near the end of the track in the hairpin. I get on the gas a little early right here. It gets squirrely. I correct it, but that causes me to go wide. And you guessed it, folks. Going wide's going to cost big time. I get the half-second penalty for ignoring the track limits. Didn't ignore them. I just tried to save the car. Oh, they really need to change the penalty system in Gran Turismo. Anyway, I served my half-second. Looked up in the rearview mirror, and here comes Sir Lance Gancelot, followed by Spartan Big Ice. I like that name. I don't know why I like that name, but Spartan Big Ice. I love it. It sounds like, you go in that Circle K and you get that nice big drink. Anyway, here comes that McLaren that served that 5-second penalty. He catches back up. This is USR Castillos. Going down the inside. I can't turn in because he is sitting there, so I tried to get the cut back, but it's just not there. He makes a really nice move down the inside. I wasn't going to try and defend that on that was a lap 5. There was no point. I figured I'd just let him go and hopefully follow him up to the next car, which did work out because I caught up to Sir Gancelot here in the heavy right-hand braking zone. We have some lag. I get into his rear, and I just let off right here. I let him right back in front of me. I do not overtake the position on the bump from behind due to the lag. I don't want to take a position like that. That's not good sportsmanship. So I let him back in front, and I follow him onto the straight, or into the straight, not unto the straight. I don't even know what unto means. And then I make a pass down the outside of the Mercedes, as it just doesn't quite have the same top speed as the McLaren. So able to get that move done well before turn 1, where I get on the brakes right there at the start of the crowd, head down into corner number 1 and out the other side. Looking in the rearview mirror, and Mercedes is still there. So that is good. On to lap number 14. Catch up to Spartan Big Gulp Ice. Or just Spartan Big Ice. I just added that gulp in there because, well, it just makes me thirsty for a big gulp. Yeah, what you talking about, Greddy? I have absolutely no idea. We're just along for the race. All right. So he goes wide there. You see just a pixel off of the curbing, and that's going to cost him a half second. So he serves that, and Greddy comes on by. Takes P14. So qualified P15, now moved up to P14. One spot here in slot 1 of the top split. On to the final lap. Just got to make it through this technical section one last time. I still have the Porsche behind me of Spartan Big Ice, and he's got a little over a second to make up. But you know what? Never count out Greddy to screw something up at the end of a race. You never know if I'm going to mess up and let him on by. Now, I do generally try to have clean, consistent laps, and I do a good job through there. One last corner. Can I get through it without any issues? I do. Get on the throttle, up into third gear, and on down the straight. I actually made up a little bit of time on Greasy there at the end, but when all was said and done, it was only good enough for a P14. Now you see original 16 finished in second there, so congratulations to you. Glad to see that tussle didn't cost you too much time. Really didn't cost me much either. I probably pretty much finished where I needed to. So Hatchet is buried. I hope originals can understand why I had to put the elbow out a little bit there myself in return. Hope you enjoyed the action. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like and subscribe. Come back and check out some more. For myself, go Greddy. Y'all have a great evening. DJ Clean, take us out of here.